Yo, how's it going, everyone? Happy, what day is it today? Tuesday. Um, okay trades today. I think I got caught in a little bit of trouble with MCTR, but it ended up working out, I guess. I just ended up getting out of the position just because I didn't want to wait it out with what happened, and I'll explain a little bit about that. So I'll start with BMGL. Um, This one I think I played pretty well. If we go here, I was looking at pre-market as a resistance point, and so I started my position there. I do want to show the chart actually because this one. So looking at this chart, I think this was a misprint, but I might be wrong. Just because there wasn't a ton of volume. I don't know if this has options. Yeah, no. It might have been a misprint. So looking at like levels of potential resistance, we had 529. Here we had like some cluster of volume. We had a cluster of volume here in this sort of 528, 565 range. So oops. So I got my initial short at 474, risking this high wick. Um, It ended up climbing a bit more, but the price action wasn't looking like disgusting to me. So as it climbed up to 5, I shorted again. Then we had this indecision candle here, and then a big flush. So after flushes like this, I might short actually here into BMEA. I think I got in at 243, which I like. This indecision, I'm just gonna risk high of the indecision. See if I could pocket some profits here, hoping to get to the two twos. But let's see. While this is sort of happening, I'll keep talking about BMGL. So a mix of a live trade and a trade recap here. Um, we'll see where we end with BMEA. So BMGL, let's see, what do we have here? It's 2.5. I'm just going to set an alert for 2.5 on it so that I don't miss it while I'm talking. And then I'll set an alert down. How this is looking is pretty bullish, but I trust that this may fall. If it climbs higher, I'll realize a little more in losses. I feel like the risk to reward is pretty good for this. Okay, lots of sellers at 2.5. Looks like we're breaking out. I'm going to get out. So took a loss on that. I don't like this price action. I thought this indecision would be respected, but it looks like it's breaking out with volume. So, anyways, we'll continue here and then I'll talk about this loss more. So BMGL. After this big red candle, I had a feeling that it would continue selling off. So I went ahead and covered some of my position into this big candle and then covered a little more and more as this continued selling off. When we have like a huge candle like this with big volume, it's a pretty good sign of like sell off incoming. I really want to get back into BMEA, but I'm not going to give back more profits. So whatever. This this is a bit unlucky for me. I mean, it might respect this and continue going, but anyways. So that was BMGL. MCTR, I got into trouble. So, um, I saw that it was kind of range bound at this point from these highs above 9 to like 7.5, and then it started having higher support forming, which was kind of a red flag. Like I shouldn't have been looking to short really. Um, regardless, I was sort of trading this range. So I traded, I got in short at 883. We had this indecision here and then a sell-off. I covered into this. I was still holding on to a portion of the position. Got in for more at 906 and then covered into this sell-off. I think I was exposed a little bit at this point. Um, this is looking bearish. I feel like I should get in. No, I won't. Um, then I was playing it again. So at this point, I got in at 9.2, and then randomly it just pops up 80 cents. So I added at 9.8. Then we had a little bit of a downturn, and then it just halts up really hard. So like when without having like hard orders, I end up in a pretty bad drawdown. But then once we opened up here, I added again. I think I was in for about 3,500 here, so my max size is 5K, right? Um, and then at this point, we topped out. So had some chop and then big sell-offs. We halted down on this candle. I try to cover a good portion of my position at, so I had a buy order at 9.8 to get off a lot of exposure. And then I sold some more at 967. Then we opened lower. I sold at looks like 917. I got out at this point because I did not want this to climb up to 11, being at VWAP. It ended up selling off, but I, in retrospect, should have held this because at this point I was pretty low exposure. So I could have added like with $1,000 exposure, could have added in these levels. But my average cost was 9.8, I think, or 9.9. So I don't like this kind of, you know, I'm playing VWAP, so like if I'm holding, I'm looking for like lower VWAP, right? And like covering into this down. Like with an average cost of here, the risk reward isn't very good. So I always feel like it's better for me to cover and then try and get in if we retest versus hold and potentially break out. I don't know if that's just, I should probably look at my past trades and sort of look at the probability and what the profits would be. But it's honestly hard for me to know because this breaking out can mean a pretty big loss and holding can mean marginal gains. But depending on how often it ends up selling off, it might be worth it to me. And now I'll go over BMEA, which is a bit tough. So I saw this huge red candle, where it sold off from 227 to like $2 a share. I got in at 227. It ends up uh breaking out with a low volume, so I held. And then I covered a little bit into these close to like mid VWAP, but 215 held really strong if we see here. And I was holding on a portion of my position at 215. We end up climbing back up. I shorted again at 232, covered a little bit at 225 because I had an average cost of like 23 at this point. And then I think I covered on the breakout, looks like. So I covered on this breakout. We had indecision, played the retest. Oh, this is the short I just took. So this indecision, so I covered on this breakout, this indecision, I was looking at this, I was basically risking the high of 2.5. Got in at 243, which we saw, and then I covered on the breakout because we had volume here. Looks like it's just kind of creating new support, maybe? I don't know if this will sell off. Um, but a bit unfortunate. Yeah, it looks like we're selling off a bit. A bit unfortunate. I mean, I don't know. Like, I took the loss on this. I followed my rules. I just had a feeling this would happen, what we're seeing here, because this is already up like 50%. and I really wanted to cover into VWAP. It would have been a good trade. Um, but yeah, I just don't like these breakouts with volume. I will say, um, this wasn't squeezing up. It was slow grinding. So how risky is it that I get caught into MCTR where this is like actively squeezing? It's not like a high probability of this exact situation happening. So either way, ended today up $143. I'm gonna check how much I paid in commissions. I do feel like it was a lot, because I had some round trips today. After commissions, okay, it says I had $13 of commissions, which honestly might be right. Um, but I think I it might have been wrong. Um, like I feel like it might be a little higher. But anyways, hope you guys enjoyed this kind of live recap plus live trading. Um, catch y'all on the next one. Peace.